What's up, guys? So I thought I'd make a video just as kind of a hype video discussing all of the albums that I have pre-ordered as well as all of my upcoming concerts. So I may or may not make this kind of a semi-reoccurring series video on my channel. And when I say that, just because of the nature of it, at best, we're talking like every few months doing a video like this, because if I did it monthly, there wouldn't be a whole lot of change between one video and the next. But gotta find some way to keep it up to date. So we'll see about that. But either way, I actually have everything written down so I don't forget anything. But yeah, I just want to talk about first I want to talk about the albums that I pre-ordered, and then because a lot of the bands that I'm going to be seeing also have upcoming albums, I kind of feel like it's going to be easier to talk about my anticipation for their concerts in that context. So yeah, let's get into it. So one thing I want to open up with, this isn't a pre-order, but it may hopefully become a pre-order soon, but I am aware that Sigur Rós has a new album coming out soon. They said to expect a new album in June. Right now it's late April. I kind of feel like there would be more information about it if it was indeed coming in June. So I'm not sure if I should be expecting it to actually come out in June, but either way, I am confident that it's coming out soon. And I have pretty strong anticipation for it. The Sigur Rós is one of my favorite bands. It's been about 10 years since they put out a new album, and yeah, I'm pretty hyped for it. Seen them live several times. Last show that I played, they played a few new songs, and then like good long time ago, because they took a long break from touring too, but a good long time ago I saw them, and I remember them playing a few new songs that I thought were pretty great. So hopefully those songs will appear on the new album. All right, now let's talk about albums that actually actively currently do have pre-ordered. So first up is one that I'm a little bit concerned about whether it's gonna see the light of day. I mean, I haven't heard anything specifically saying that we should be concerned about, but I'm just kind of looking at what's going on, and I'm a little bit concerned about this, and that is the Mondo release of the E.T. score. So I'm a huge E.T. fan, huge John Williams fan. I collect a lot of film scores. That's just my shit. I do have the E.T. score on a really shitty picture disc. I love the picture on it. In fact, let me see if I can get it. Alright, I see where it should be. Yeah, I mean, just take a look at this picture disc. Here's the back. But yeah, all that aside, though, terrible sounding picture disc. The worst sounding picture or vinyl in general in my collection, except maybe one that, from its actual pressing was flawed and they didn't do anything. But that's beside the point. But yeah, obviously this is just a single LP. This Mondo version is going to be a double LP. It's going to have more of the music. I ordered the, I think they call it like moon color variant. It's kind of like an off-white mix type deal. But anyway, yeah, if you're not familiar with Mondo, they don't just do vinyl records. They do like various pop culture based art, and it's always really cool art type stuff they do. So the cover is going to be like more of a art cover than your typical movie poster cover or anything of that sort. But fairly recently they got bought out by Funko, which I didn't really think much one way or another, but apparently Funko's been kind of making some bad financial decisions, and they're kind of taking it out on the recently acquired Mondo. So from what I've heard, they've recently laid off a huge chunk of their staff, and have had a lot of their inventory destroyed. So yeah, I'm a little bit concerned for just, the longevity of Mondo in general, and, Will they even be around long enough to be able to deliver this vinyl? We shall see. Anyway, moving on. Chris Staples, Cloud Souvenirs. This is Chris Staples, not Chris Stapleton. He actually has a funny song referencing that, where, you know, somebody shows up to their show expecting it to be Chris Stapleton. It's not, it's just him. And he says something about fuck that guy. It's a funny song, but that's besides the point. But yeah, I have his new album, Cloud Souvenirs, on pre-order. And it actually shipped recently. Should be arriving pretty soon. I know he's actually had the physical vinyl with him for a pretty decently long time. So I'm not entirely sure why he's been kind of slow to put out. But yeah, like I quote-unquote pre-order. I'm not sure if you can really call it pre-order if it's on hand. Probably not quite a month ago. And he said he was going to ship it out in early May, but I guess he decided to ship it out earlier. I'm not entirely sure why that happened to begin with. But yeah, either way, Chris Staples was probably the most obscure and underrated artist that I listen to. But yeah, it's kind of a cool singer-songwriter. I really like how he blends different elements, like, you know, acoustic and electric guitar and synthesizers. And it's just really cool music. I really dig his stuff. Next, I've pre-ordered Invasion's EP, How Far We've Fallen. I think this should be sending out pretty soon. I think it might already be available over in Europe. But yeah, Invasion put out my second favorite album of 2022. And I know this was released digitally then, but because I'm such a physical purist, I haven't listened to it yet. I don't know if I even listened to a single song off of it yet. But yeah, I'm pretty hyped for it. Next up, pre-order the Super Mario Brothers movie score. So it's still pretty early in the year. I don't really expect this to hold, but so far, the Super Mario Brothers movie has been my favorite movie of 2023. And it had a pretty strong score to it, too, obviously. Like I said, I like collecting scores. I don't have a whole lot of video game-related scores. Definitely not anything Mario-related. And I like the idea of ordering this, you know, not just because it's just great, but, you know, it has a lot of, you know, callbacks to different video games. And, you know, I kind of like the idea of, you know, having more of that anthology, if you will, best of, if you will. You know, obviously they're not straight from the video games. They're kind of reorchestrated, which I'm fine with. I think that's cool, you know, getting kind of like, you know, the best of Mario's songs all on there. And yeah, I pre-ordered it on a red and green vinyl. I saw there was some other exclusive color from the site that I ordered it from. I like red and green better because, you know, it's Mario and Luigi's color. In addition to that, I also pre-ordered a 7-inch of the Bowser Peaches song. Honestly, I mean, I didn't hate the song, but, you know, it's not really necessarily something that I would want to get on vinyl. What I would like to get on vinyl, though, is the B-side, which is the Hooked on the Brothers rap from the old Mario cartoon, you know. I think, like, you know, really kitschy novelty songs like that are just really fun to collect on as singles and stuff. So that's the main reason why I ordered it. Next up, I've pre-ordered the new Foo Fighters album, But Here We Are. They've released the song Rescued. Obviously, this is their first album after the tragic passing of Taylor Hawkins a little bit over a year ago now, so they're pretty quick to put this album together. I've seen some people say that it's too soon, but, you know, you have to understand that, you know, when someone passes, you know, you cope in different ways, and, you know, for Foo Fighters, that's making an album. Honestly, the song Rescued, like, in comparison to other Foo Fighters songs, I'll even say more specifically in comparison to, like, you know, the lead singles, it's not really necessarily the greatest song, I'll say, but what stands out to me more than anything is the passion and the lyrics and vocals. And I do kind of like how it's a little bit of a return to form, I would say, because their last couple albums, they've been a little bit more fleshed out, which I don't really think was quite the best thing for Foo Fighters to do. This has a little bit more of a less is more type deal. It doesn't really sound like there's a whole lot of different instruments in there, and it's not like ridiculously overproduced, but it does sound huge, but that's just because it's just some huge parts. And, it might be some like double layered guitars or triple layered guitars or whatever, but like they're all playing more or less the same thing, and that's kind of what I like about the Foo Fighters. And it's a pretty decent song. I think it would have been better if it was like maybe a minute shorter, because I do remember it had sort of like a false ending to it, and then it just kind of goes back, goes for another chorus. I think it would have been a little bit better if it ended earlier, though. But it's a decent song, and I did want to get the new album. And next, lastly, for my pre-orders, I've pre-ordered the reissue of Coheed and Cambria's Second Stage Turbine Blade. So, funny thing about this, I bought it as a used CD years ago, like maybe 10 years ago, thereabout. But anyway, what I didn't realize, I did look back at, the listing of what I purchased, and it was just me not paying attention, so nothing bad on the seller, but all I got was just the disc in a plain paper sleeve. So that was a little bit disappointing, so now I'm getting it on vinyl. I'm getting it on, I think it was like green with white and yellow, or black and yellow, or something like that, splatter. Looks pretty cool. I'm pretty excited. All right, so now I want to talk about the upcoming concerts I'm going to. On average, I'll go to maybe 2 concerts a year. That's just because I kind of live in a hellhole where not very many bands come through all that often. I mean, even now, I'm still having to do a decent amount of traveling, but yeah, generally, I have to travel at least a couple hours out to go to a concert. So yeah, I usually only go to concerts about twice a year. Right now, I have tickets for 6 concerts. So I don't know if I'm just being a little bit less picky about, who and how far I see, or if all of a sudden bands I'm interested in have just discovered my area. But yeah, I'm going to a lot more concerts this year, so let's get into it. So on May 6th, I'll be seeing the Mobile Symphony Orchestra, obviously in Mobile at the Sanger Theater. They're going to be doing songs from Lord of the Rings, as you can see right there. I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan. Also, my very first tattoo was Lord of the Rings themed, but yeah, I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan. No, I don't have it on that shelf, never mind, but I do have the score for Fellowship of the Ring. It's actually too big to fit on this shelf. I keep on meaning to clear out all this stuff so I can put some bigger stuff up on top there. I'll get to that one of these days. Yeah, gonna see some Lord of the Rings music performed live. Then on May 18th, I'm going out to New Orleans to see the Mars Volta. This year, I've really gotten into Mars Volta a lot more. Orpheum Theater is where the last concert I went to see was at, which was The Smile back in December. It's a nice kind of... I think it holds 1,400. It's a pretty nice, decent, not too big, not too small type venue. So yeah, looking forward to that. I have kind of a centered seat, kind of right dead in the middle of it, so should have a pretty decent view from there, I'd think. So I do tend to keep up with set list of a lot of bands that I keep up, or that I'm going to be seeing soon, and I'm kind of surprised that they've been playing a lot of their earlier music lately. I am somewhat concerned because they're putting out an acoustic version of their most recent album, so I'm kind of hoping, or not hoping, I'm a little bit concerned that they might just all of a sudden make it a heavily acoustic themed show, which, I mean, I guess if like they said it well in advance, I'd probably still go. But I mean, I don't know. I really like the idea of seeing them, play a more varied set list and, a lot of their older songs. So we shall see about that. Then June 15th, I'll be seeing Chris Staples, who I mentioned in my pre-orders, at Odd Colony in Pensacola. I've seen him at the same venue before. Last time I saw him, though, was at some guy's backyard. I think this guy has actually done a lot of photography for Chris Staples. Like, I think he did the photography for this current album that he's about to release. But yeah, Odd Colony is like this bar/distillery. They have a back room where they occasionally do events and small concerts like that. I think it holds like 50. Last I saw, I think it like maybe 15, 20 or so tickets have sold. So, nice intimate place. So yeah, I've seen Chris Staples probably more than any other band or artist that I've seen. I've seen him twice with a full band, which is always nice, but this is just going to be like a one-man acoustic show. I'll say I kind of feel like he has more flexibility in the songs he can play by, going solo like that, because he has a lot of more stripped-down songs that I think are kind of easier to adapt into that, and, even his more fleshed-out full band songs are pretty easy to adapt into that one-man solo show. But, when he's playing with a full band, yeah, it's kind of nice to see, but, he can't play as much of those stripped-down songs, so I'm cool with it either way, I'll say. So it said that he's going to be playing his new album plus some back catalog stuff, so I don't know if he's going to be playing the new album in full. I'm a little bit concerned about that, mainly because I haven't heard the new album yet. I mean, who knows, maybe it'll be something really exciting to hear in full. But yeah, we shall see about that. Either way, I mean, it's not like a long drive like, New Orleans. I'm going to have to stay in a hotel for that. Pensacola, that's drive there and drive back home the same night. No big deal. The very next day, I'm going to be traveling out to Birmingham to see Foo Fighters at Grand Oak Amphitheater. I've never seen Foo Fighters before, so I'm real excited about that. As I've said, they got a new album coming out. I'm a little bit worried it'll be overly dominated by new songs, but we shall see. Set lists have been pretty decently varied. There's a lot of talk about who the new drummer is going to be. Lots of different rumors going around. One rumor that I'm not a big fan of that I've seen is that whoever the new drummer is, they'll actually be performing from backstage or behind a curtain. They won't be physically present on stage playing drums. I can somewhat see why they do that, but I'm not really buying too much into it. I mean, Foo Fighters have had a history of having, additional part-time live musicians. They've never felt the need to, keep them behind curtain or whatever. They're always present, physically present there on stage. So I'm kind of hoping that's not going to be what's happening. I've seen some rumors that Dave's going to be playing drums, switching from guitar to drums, and, obviously still singing. I kind of feel like that could go one way or another. Here's one thing for, bands in general that go through lineup changes. When I say that, I'm mainly talking like, getting additional personnel or losing personnel, getting more stripped down. Whenever that happens, that's going to limit what songs you can play. And yeah, Foo Fighters have lately been getting, their band's been getting bigger and bigger. So, it is sad that Taylor passed away, but I also kind of feel like it would be a good opportunity to strip down their band. So, Dave playing drums might be a good thing, but at the same time, there is a lot of good, newer songs that I kind of feel like it would be fun to play, like, Rope. That song really depends on having 3 guitar players. I don't know if they're going to be playing it or not, but, I mean, still, like, that is a good song to have a big band to play, so. But, yeah, as always, we shall see. That's shows already sold out. I like to look at seating capacities and, whether a show's sold out or not. And yeah, I can't remember how much Grand Oak Amphitheater holds, but I think it's like over 10,000. I remember that. Yeah, anyway, July 28th, I will be seeing Sparta at the Handlebar in Pensacola. They will be playing their album, Wiretap Scars. Forgot it for a minute, but yeah, they'll be playing their first album, Wiretap Scars, in its entirety. I'm somewhat split on how well this show's going to go, mainly because I feel like Sparta's kind of past their prime. I will say their recent album's grown on me a bit. I know I ranked it at the bottom when I did my review for it for albums of 2022. And I still kind of hold by that, but it's grown on me a little bit more. I enjoy it a little bit more. But I still feel like Sparta's kind of past their prime. But they're going to be playing their first album. But then, in addition to that, they've recently stripped down from a 4-piece to a 3-piece. So, not sure how those songs are going to translate now. And, like, during that era, like, when they're actually touring on that album, they actually were touring as a 5-piece. They had a additional keyboard player that would play on a few songs live. So, yeah, now they're just down to, Jim singing and playing guitar, bass, and drums. So, yeah, we shall see how it goes as a 3-piece. But I am kind of excited for, the setting of it, because it's Handlebar in Pensacola. I've been there a few times. It's a tiny little shithole of a venue. I think it holds like maybe 300 or so. So it should be a nice intimate setting. Like I said, I kind of feel like they're past their prime. I don't know if that many people are going to be going to the show to begin with. And in addition to that, I decided to go ahead and pay up and get a VIP pass for it. That's going to get me in early to see a acoustic set. I've been theorizing what songs they're going to be playing acoustically. I kind of feel like Breaking the Broken would be a good contender. Then I also want to say that, I hope they play more than just the album, because it's not that long of an album, but my hopes aren't really that high, because I was looking at some of their set lists. Usually their sets, even when they're headlining, they're usually, somewhere between 40 and 50 minutes, which is about how long the album is. So I'm kind of expecting them to play just the album. I'd like to see them play a little bit more than that. I like seeing, the band I'm going to see play, longer than an hour, So we shall see about that. And then the last concert I currently am going to is Coheed and Cambria at a venue called the Fillmore. I've never been there before. It's in New Orleans. That's on September 10th. And they're going to be playing their album, Good Apollo, I Am Burning Star 4, Volume 2, No World for Tomorrow. They have such long album names. And they also said they're going to be playing a few songs from Window of the Waking Mind. I'm not sure how many, but either way, that's going to be a really long set list, because that's a long album, plus they're playing additional songs on top of that. Not sure how many songs, like I said, but that should be a pretty good set. It's one of my favorite albums of theirs, probably about second or third favorite. Their newest album is actually my favorite. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing that. I saw Coheed and Cambria a few years ago. It was at Soul Kitchen in Mobile. I think they hold about 800. It's all standing room. I got stuck behind two really tall guys, so I didn't get that great of a view of it, but it was a pretty good show. And this time, so when I got the VIP pass for Sparta, that was intentional. I actually got a VIP pass on accident somehow for Coheed and Cambria. I didn't even realize that was what I was buying when I bought it, but that's apparently what I bought. So yeah, that gets me in early. It is a standing ticket. I know they have seats, but I'm going to be, in the pit. But I get to get in early, so hopefully I'll be able to get up close. And yeah, I get to see them play an acoustic set before the show starts. So that should be great. Once again, I'm kind of theorizing what songs they'll be playing. And, kind of feel like it'll be some of the more classic hits from not the albums they're playing. But yeah, that's the concerts I'm currently going to and all of my pre-orders. So yeah, I'll give you updates as all that shit happens. Maybe I'll do this again. Let me know if you'd like me to.